There is a formula there. Let's say, I told this before, but there was a guy we had a few months ago who studied 40 different questions for CBP, got upset, told me, they didn't ask me one question that I studied for. And so, why are 52% of Border Patrol structured interviewed applicants failing the interview process? Well, there's four reasons here that I want to tell you about. So, the first one is this: you're not interpreting or you're not relaying your specific accomplishments thoroughly to the panel. So, what happens a lot of times, people are making up these hypothetical accomplishments. They don't want to hear that. They want to hear real life accomplishments by you. And I don't mean hero things where you're some kind of hero, you're doing something awesome and amazing. No. But they want you to be able to relate or make it relatable about your personal story regarding your accomplishment or accomplishments. Secondary to that, they want this accomplishment to be related to Border Patrol, of course, right? So you're thinking, well, I don't work Border Patrol. Sure, that's fine. But you do have integrity, right? You do know how to organize things, right? You do know how to be aware of your environment, right? Situational awareness, right? You do know how to make people feel like they are okay with a stressful situation. If you have those kind of skill sets, they all relate to the Border Patrol job. You can find that working at McDonald's. You can find that working a security job, right? Those jobs have relatable experiences to the career of a BP agent. They all do. It's a matter of understanding what that is, right? Look at the ingredients, mix it together, and apply it towards the Border Patrol structured interview panel. The second one here is probably one of the biggest ones where people fall on their face. That's the hypothetical scenarios. They are going to ask you a lot, not even a lot. They're going to ask you hypothetical scenarios to see how you answer these. They're looking for things like your judgment, right? Your logical ability to handle a situation, your integrity. They're looking at things that will make the average person maybe not be able to answer it properly, but someone who's practiced, even from a civilian life, has practiced these answers, right? They'll be able to pass. They're also looking for jargon, looking for paramilitary words, chain of command. I say it all the time. Looking for things like, I would definitely use a CBP policy, CBP procedures, BP policy, BP procedures, right? Things like that where they trigger, oh my gosh, this person has done some homework, of course. Yes, we know they're civilian, but they're doing their homework. The thing about hypothetical scenarios is that there is a formula there. Let's say, I told this before, but there was a guy we had a few months ago who studied 40 different questions for CBP, got upset, told me, they didn't ask me one question that I studied for. And it doesn't matter what they ask you if you learn the formula. That's what I teach. So if you want to understand how to answer any question they might ask you, you click the link below. You get into my one-on-one structured interview for Border Patrol, and I can show you how that works. So it doesn't matter about the question, it matters about the formula. This is why you know what 2 plus 2 is, what 2 plus 8 is, what 2 plus 12 is. It's all based upon a formula. Same thing here, okay? Next one is going to be, you guys, is integrity and professionalism. The Border Patrol really emphasizes a lot of integrity and professional behavior. So people say, yes, we understand, Metro, they want integrity, but why are they so heavy on it? Because a lot of times, guys, for two reasons. A lot of times, you're on your own, right? You're out there doing something and you're on your own. They have to depend on you and trust you, whether you're on your own or with a bunch of your colleagues. They have to understand that you'll be professional by yourself, right? You're going to be honest all by yourself. You understand? Because sometimes your position, your career can be sometimes subject to situations of bribery, right? Blackmail, right? Temptation, all sorts of things that average Joe like myself doesn't come across, but you will. And the only thing they know to keep you away from that kind of messy life is to have integrity. This is why they push that so hard. So when you're answering questions, you have to sometimes insert the I word. I can show you where to insert that at. There's a certain rhythm there. There's a certain formula there as well. Some people go, integrity. It doesn't sound solid, but you understand the system and how to answer the questions and the formula, you will know when to insert integrity, but it must be true too. It just can't be a word to you. You must really live that life. That's what they want, understand? The last one I say for last, and it's just this. People are not preparing for this very serious structural interview for Border Patrol. Some of them are thinking they're studying for regular interviews, Where do you want to be in 5 years? How's this? How's that? They don't want to hear stuff like that. They're not even into that. This is a Border Patrol structure interview panel. They don't care about things like a normal civilian interview would care about. They are going to hammer you with situational questions. I've been told for the past 5 years, sometimes they ask you 4 questions, sometimes 5, and they're all situational. Understand? So if you walk in there thinking they're going to ask you these basic questions like, where are you going to be in 5 years? What's your weakness and stuff? No, you're studying for the wrong test. They're going to find out all that through one question alone because they have a formula they're going to ask you and see how you respond to that formula via situational questions. If you are not studying in that form, in that way, if you're not having somebody ask you these questions, if you're not getting prepared by looking at the mirror and saying yes sir and no sir and chain of command and CBP policy and when to insert that, how to get ready for situational questions, how to understand the formula, if you're not ready for all that, you are going to be part of the 52% who do not pass. That's just it. Now, I've heard you have to wait 3 months, but sometimes 6 months. I don't know right now. They're restructuring things, but either way, if you don't pass that test, you don't pass the interview, you're going to wait. There's going to be a delay in your career into your dreams. There is no need for all that. I want you guys to be ready. If you want to be ready, you click the link below, set up a one-on-one with me in my calendar there, and I'll get you ready for this. The small investment of your time, right, this 2-3 hours with me is worth it to get this career of being a professional Border Patrol agent, have your vehicle, have your post, have a prideful job, something you do that most of us don't do. Every single day you're making a change in a positive way to this country. That's a heavy-hitting thing. So this is why I tell you, you hit the link below and you start down that path, I can get you ready for this situational interview. 71 people today wear the badge because of the work I've done with them. That's the truth. I have receipts. That's what I do. So if you're interested, hit the link below. Let's get it started today and get you past that hurdle and put you into the 48% who pass the structural interview. Okay? You guys take care. Bye-bye.